Well, hi everyone, it's Jilly Littles and Crone. How are you? Everybody doing okay? We're all doing, aren't we? I am here to do a summer wrap up since it's now October 2nd. Summer wrap up and an intro to Happy Fall. And I have notes. I have notes here. I have notes on my computer over here. So I'm hoping that I can do this and not be too terribly rambly, but you might want to grab a cup of coffee anyway. I have started this video 3 times. The first time I started it, I realized that it probably would be good with a cup of coffee. And so I went to get the coffee and realized that the coffee wasn't made. So I went and made the coffee. And then I sat down and Henry was outside and started barking. So I brought him inside. And then I started the 3rd time and I don't know who he was barking at the window. Sometimes when people walk by, it depends upon who it is. Definitely the Amazon driver he barks at, but sometimes if people walk by, he doesn't care. And sometimes when people walk by, he barks, so I don't know. But anyway, he was barking, so I had to turn him off. I had to tell him to stop and then restart the video again. Anyway, hello. Cheers. How was your summer? Our summer was a little odd. I guess the only odd part about it was that we didn't go to the beach this year. For the last 4 or 5 years, Mark and I have been going to the beach every year. The beach is my happy place, and it's taken him a long time to get on board with that. But yeah, in the first 2 summers, we went on our own. And then as my parents have aged, the beach is my father's happy place too. And so we would rent a house down at the beach and take my father and my stepmom down and visit with grandkids and stuff. And it was a lovely time. And this year, because Mark started a new job, we weren't able to do that. And it felt a little weird to not be planning that. And it also was, we always planned it around Mark's birthday in August. And it was sort of like the last hurrah for summer. It was, it would be in late August and we'd go for 4 or 5 days and come home, and then I was ready for fall. Well, this summer I was ready for fall like by August 1st. It was a hot summer here. Anybody else? It was hot and humid, and it started, I remember this specifically because the kickoff to our summer was my best friend's wedding. I know that's a movie title, right? My best friend got married in the rolling hills of Ohio, and we went out for the wedding. And the Friday that we were traveling out there, it poured rain. Most of the way there, it poured. And then when we got there, the sun came out and it was beautiful but humid. And then her wedding day, it was also very humid. And Mary does not do well in the heat, and it was an outside wedding. But everything turned out well and all is well. Anyway, and I just feel like, and that was June 5th. And I feel like since June 5th, it just stayed hot and humid. So that kind of goes into gardening woes, because you might know that Mr. Honey and I plant a vegetable garden every year, and we've been now looking at getting into our golden years. I say we. It's not we. It's Mr. Honey. He's done all of this. He built these wonderful raised beds, and they're raised to like my waist high. and they're about 2 feet deep. And now we have 5 of them, and we have the frames for 2 more. So we planted all of these. We planted green beans, and we have strawberries in one of the beds. We planted 1 zucchini and 1 cucumber. We planted some melon. We planted tomatoes, basil, beets and carrots and potatoes, and then later on we planted some butternut squash. Of all of that, the beans did come up. Not a great bean harvest, but we did get beans. Not enough for me to freeze, not anything like that, but we got enough beans to enjoy beans during the season. We planted a second crop of beans. Last year we got a second crop of beans. This year, nothing. The cantaloupe, nothing. The zucchini and cucumber, it was the oddest thing. I had got, I think, 4 zucchini from the zucchini plant and a couple of cucumbers from the cucumber plant, and it rained, and I went out 2 days later. It was dead and covered in aphids. Just like that. I can't snap my fingers anymore, but just like that. So it was just crazy. Now we did, and no tomatoes. Planted, there's a caveat there. Of the tomatoes that I physically planted in the raised beds, which were 8 plants, maybe a cereal bowl full of tomatoes. That was it. However, we got these volunteer tomato plants that came up in our front yard. We usually plant corn in the front, and just like maybe 6 stalks of corn, and like for decoration, but we eat it too, But we had tomatoes come up there, and they're still, I still have tomatoes that are getting red. So we've had a crop of tomatoes from the front yard that I did not plant. And we did have some come up in the side bed too, which we didn't plant, and I don't know how they got there. So the basil did relatively well, and I was able to freeze some of that. And I got nothing like my other herbs. I planted herbs. I planted cilantro. I planted parsley. I planted, what else did I plant? I'm trying to think of seeds. Chives. Nothing. None of them came up. It boggles my mind. But we did get a really good crop of potatoes in July. We had planted those. They were the first thing that got planted. They got planted in maybe, guess who that is? They got planted in April, I think. April, like right after the frost, the last frost. So they got planted in April in grow bags. And I'm going to say from that first crop of potatoes, we got about 5 pounds of potatoes. I was really happy. And I'm going to take pictures next year. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about starting another YouTube channel called Little Zen Homestead, just for the, for the homesteading stuff that we do. So we got potatoes, and I have, I don't know, maybe I've picked, it's right here, I'll get it. We've picked 1 butternut squash already, and we have maybe 6 or 7 more out there, so we're squash farmers, yay. I love butternut squash, and Mr. Honey does not like it so much, so there will be a lot that gets frozen and a lot of butternut squash soup that gets made. So that was our garden. We also planted our normal flowers, which are pansies. Uh, they take drought pretty well. Um, and so we planted those. But anyway, that was the gardening. I hope that was okay to stick in this video, but I always like to talk about the garden. The seed catalog should be coming soon, and as you might remember too, maybe not, I save my seed catalog. When it comes, I put it away, and I do not open that seed catalog until I don't open it until February 1st. So that gives me like something to look forward to through the dark months. All right. So the end of the summer came with Labor Day weekend, which is Mr. Honey's and my wedding anniversary. We have been married for 31 years this year, and our son came home. Bennett came home. We had a great weekend with him. We went to a couple of vineyards, and Mark's always the designated driver, so that's a that he doesn't drink, so that works out for me and Bennett. So we had a really nice weekend that weekend, and later on in the summer we found our local farmers market. Who knew that in this tiny little town we have a tiny little farmers market? So we've been visiting there on the weekends, and it's been lovely. All right, let's get into fall. Fall is typically a time that I have had a love-hate relationship with because of seasonal affective disorder, seasonal affective depression, whatever it is, seasonal depression. I get sad in the fall when it starts to get dark, and I have traditionally put the brakes on. I can feel it. Labor Day comes and I'm like, I want to see the leaves change, and I love the beautiful colors. I love the cool, crisp mornings and the cooler temperatures. Love sweater weather, but do not like the dark. I have been not liking the dark, and if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I'm not a fan of Halloween. So, and I never have been a fan of Halloween, even as a kid. Liked the candy, didn't like the costumes. So, over the past 3 or 4 years, with the help of lovely people like Tarot Stash, Gerald, and Zane, and Jamie, and many other people, I have, I don't know, like been able to flip the switch or change the script, change my mindset about fall and winter, and really start to enjoy it and not be afraid of the darkness. As a matter of fact, this year, I'm welcoming it, and I am kind of amazed at myself with that because it's just very new to me. So over the past couple of years, I thought, I should get some fall decorations because I never decorated really for fall. When the kids were in school and they did, the leaves, we did that, but I never, bought fall decorations. So I bought, Mr. Honey made me a wooden box, and I can see it right now. It's filled with fake apples. And I'll change that out probably today to put pumpkins in there. And then as I began discovering that not only am I a Zen priest, but I'm also a witch, I started to think, well, I need some decor for fall. And I wish you could see this, and maybe I can take a picture and slip it into the video. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I'll see if I can. So I bought like a garland, I guess, of fall leaves, and that's on the bookcase. And then I have a tree that is it's an oak tree. It's got acorns on it and like oak tree shaped leaves that lights up. So in the evening we have the lights, and I've got the fall, you know, all of the fall wax melts going and all of that. But oh no, I just didn't even notice that she has a sign and I can't see what it says. Hold on. I'm about ready to show you something and there's words here. Oh, I love it. Okay. So she's actually a couple years old, but so I bought this little witch figurine on Amazon, and the sign says 5-cent broomstick rides. I love her. And there are others that you can also buy, but I have her, and she also looks like she's kind of looking up and saying, huh, so I am a witch. And that's kind of how I feel. And then this guy I found at the grocery store, and I mean, dear Lord, is that not me? Meditation. So I have him. I've got a bunch of pumpkins. I've got the leaves. And then over the past, again, like 3 or 4 years, my, the animal that I was most, that I felt most connected to were elephants. I love elephants. But when I got the Witch's Wisdom Tarot, so I can't remember how long that was, but it's like 4 or 5 years ago now, I'm not sure. I became really connected to fox through that deck, and I bought this little fox figurine that I keep the fox figurine out all year, but he sits under the oak tree with the witch. So that is my fall decor. So what decks am I working with? I do not have any like Halloween themed decks. So I would love for y'all in the comments below to tell me what Halloween themed decks are your favorites. The deck that I work with, and this is like the only I guess you would call it Halloween themed deck, is the Shadowlands Tarot. And these are the backs. You know this deck. So this is the deck the only deck that I have that is Halloween themed, and this is the one I work with. And I'm holding it upside down, aren't I? Oh no, just that card was. Okay. And I really, really like the book for this deck. Yeah, I really like the book for this deck. I love this. Love this card. So yeah, this is the deck that I have out and I'm working with. However, I have had Seasons of the Witch, Samhain, Oracle on my list, I don't know, forever. And Tony from Antoinette Tarot and Jewelry, who I had on Wine and Tarot not this past time, but the time before, she like pushed me over the edge, and I finally got this deck, and I'm really loving it. I have not worked with it a whole lot yet, but it's October now, so it's time. And for those of you, and I'm really late to the party with this, I know. But, oh gosh, those backs and the gilding. But love, love, love this deck, and I love the messages. I think this is going to be a really, really good deck for me for the... But I'm also looking for more like ancestral decks, and some more, not necessarily Halloween-y themed decks, but just some more oracle decks. So what are you working with in that light, in oracle land? I have two more decks. The other oracle deck I got is the Green Witches Oracle deck, and I am really, really loving this deck. I love the font could be a little bigger, but I'm going to say that every time. I'm just saying. Unless the font's like 16 point, I'm just going to say it. I will say this though, it could be a little bigger, but it's very clear. You know, there's not a lot behind it. I don't mind the borders on this. I love the simplicity of this deck. Hopefully all these are the same. Now, I will say that the book is a little confusing because there is not a table of contents for each card that I can see. There is not. And it's not in alphabetical order. So you kind of have to flip through the book and see where the picture is, unless somebody knows something that I don't know or have not seen. So if there's a secret way to quickly find the write-up on the cards, you know, let me know that too. But that is this deck, and I'm really enjoying it. And then the third deck I just received, and I have to say I don't feel like this is a fall deck at all, so I don't know how much I'll be working with it over the fall. Oh, time to sip. I don't know how long I will be working with it, but this is Kelly Burton's Flight of the Butterfly. And when this first came, it took me a long time to say yes and purchase this deck, because I was afraid, not that I don't love butterflies, because I do, but I really liked her bee decks, and I was afraid that I was not going to like this one as much. So it took me a while to say yes to purchase it. And then when I got it, these are the backs. Beautiful, and the gilding, oh, it's just beautiful. And Kelly does such a nice job of wrapping things up just beautifully, and like all of her little extras. It came with a pin and a bunch of postcards, and a card stand that you can, a wooden card stand. And then this came inside the box. It's a QR code that you can, when you scan it, a digital copy of like a journaling book comes up that really goes into these cards a lot deeper. and I appreciate that too. But okay, so this is the Chariot. Isn't that beautiful and different? So when I opened it and I went through it, I wasn't overly, I think this is Strength. I wasn't overly, like, I wasn't like, oh wow, I had that, oh, this is different kind of reaction. But going through it again and again, I'm really, really liking it. It just took me a minute. The colors, she does decks so well. I love the colors she uses, the color palette. Her color palette and mine just really match really well. But oh my gosh, if any of you received this deck, what were your first impressions? Did you love it right away? Did you feel like, oh, this is different, I need a minute? Like, how did you feel about it? What did you feel? Yeah. So it's just beautiful, beautiful. So those are my decks. Yep. All right. Now, also this summer, I got an idea, and I went to ChatGPT about this idea and said, you know, this is an idea I have, kind of like, what do you think? Let's come up with a plan, like an outline for it. I use ChatGPT a lot for outlining, I just started using ChatGPT for like final editing, spell check and grammar. It will tell me if my spacing's off. So I really appreciate it for that. But anyway, I came up with this idea, and this is why it happened. I am in learning mode with, you know, with witchcraft and with astrology. I'm really drawn to the moon and moon phases, symbolism. Yeah. So I wanted, and I've been getting information over the past 3 or 4 years from different places, and I'd write notes down, and I had stuff in journals, and I had stuff tucked away in, you know, in other notebooks that I kept specifically for information. And so it was like every season of the year I was going through, and I was like gathering stuff from different places, and I really wanted to put it just in one place. So it started off as like a tarot and moon guide, but it's so much more than that. And during one of my lives, there were, I don't know, 4 or 5 names that came up, and we voted on it. We decided to call it the Crone's Compass. You all voted on it. Decided to call this publication, this monthly publication that I'm creating, the Crone's Compass. And I'm so proud of it. Like, it's been a place for me to keep things together for the seasons. And as I've been going about and, you know, researching and adding new things, and I'm going to have to let Henry out in just a second. It's become a really, I love it. So I hope you will too. And I'm asking y'all to go over to Buy Me a Coffee. I will put the link will be in the description. And this is 37 pages plus bonus pages this month. So I think there's over 40 pages. And it is just full of, there's like some workbook pages, things about manifesting and releasing. There's a section about the moon phases, what each of the moon phases means spiritually, and different things that you can be doing within each moon phase. There's a bunch of tarot in there. There's a tarot spread for the month. There are mini readings that I've done for each sign, for each zodiac sign. I take the card for the month, so October, it's the Justice card, and we look at the Justice card and the symbolism. There's a whole section, an additional section, because last month I talked about Mabon as well, but there's a whole section on Mabon here, and there's different ideas for like things that you can do. You can do this with your kids, you can do it just on your own. Here's a list of 25 things to do during Mabon. And I think it's for people who, like me, kind of get stuck, or maybe a little overwhelmed with information, or oh, it's Mabon, what should I be doing in Mabon? What are some of the things I've been doing in Mabon? Or maybe you're really practiced. Maybe you've been doing this for years and years, and you've been doing the same things over again, and you just kind of want to refresh. This is a publication for everyone, whether you are whether you're a crone or not, whether you are identify as a witch or not. There is something in here for everyone. It is being offered for $3, so less than the price of the cup of coffee. It is over on Buy Me a Coffee, and I will put the link below, and I hope that you'll go over and consider supporting this little Zen creator. So that's that. Now, let me let Henry out. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Henry's out. Let me steady this and sip, and it's time to talk about books. I am an avid reader, and more now than ever, I listen to books. And I really like to listen to books while I knit, sometimes while I garden, sitting out on the porch, my beloved porch. And I listen at night. It helps me to go to sleep. I set the timer and listen. So as of today, this year, I've listened to, I think it's 78 books. So a lot. I listen a lot. So 3 of the books, it's 3 books in a series that I want to share with you. And the first one, none of them are witchy, but I do want to talk to you about a witchy kind of author. Not a witchy kind of, she is a witchy author, and I really appreciate her too, and I found her quite by accident. But the first book I read that I want to share about is called Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon, and this is about a woman who is, I think she's 70 in the book, so she's around my age, and it is a book that is written in the future, so I don't think it says how long in the future, how far in the future it is, but it's in the future enough so that people are living on other planets. And this group of people were hired by a company a corporation to go and inhabit this planet and make it profitable for the corporation. And so they've been living there for many, many years. And the corporation comes in and says, yeah, sorry, it's not that profitable anymore, so we're going to move y'all. And we're sending spaceships to come and get you. So pack everything up. You can take one bag. And if you're not able to work anymore, if you're over age, whatever, 50, 60, we're going to charge you extra for that. And it just does not sit right with this woman. I love her. So she decides she's staying. She's not leaving. She's going to stay. In the many years that she's lived there, she's learned how to like work all of the equipment. She's worked in the many different, she's worked in the kitchen. She's worked in the garden. She knows how to work a lot of the machinery that it's going to take for her to live there on her own. And she just decides, I'm staying. So the day that she is supposed to be transported off the planet, she hides. She hides in the woods, and honestly, they don't come looking for her. So the transport leaves, and she is really looking forward to living on her own. And then she finds out that she's not alone, that there is another intelligent species living on the planet. And so this book then becomes about like really what it's about to cohabitate, to live together peacefully. And it's about being different but the same. It's about communication. And yeah, it's really, really a good book. Really good book. It's also about ageism. It's about wanting to live independently and being told that that's maybe not a good idea, but you know yourself that, I can do this. So that was that book. The second book I read was called, the second book I want to share, not the second book I read, but it's called When We Were Vikings, and it's by Andrew David MacDonald. And this is about a girl named Zelda who is living with she's a young adult. She's living with fetal alcohol syndrome, and she lives by the Viking code. She is very enamored with Vikings. And so she's living by the Viking code, and she's, built into the legend and the lore around Vikings. And she lives with her brother. Her brother is her support and kind of a caretaker, although what she discovers again is that she's a lot more independent than she thinks she is. Her brother's choices put both of them into a dangerous situation. And this is a book about, like I said, it's about independence, and it's about personal sovereignty and agency. And it's a really good read. The third book I want to share with you is a book by Frederick Bachman. He wrote A Man Called Uwe, which is the book that inspired the movie A Man Called Otto, and he's Swedish. So all of the books take place in Sweden. But he's written many, many books, and I read 3 or 4 of them this year. But this one really struck me, and it's called My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And it is about a girl named Elsa, and she's a young girl. She's still school aged, and she has a very eccentric grandmother who was a physician. I think she was a physician. And Elsa is a little eccentric herself. She finds it difficult to make friends. She has a hard time in school. And her grandmother becomes her best friend. And when her grandmother dies, Elsa is just devastated. In her grandmother's eccentricity, she has, she's kind of a curmudgeon maybe. And she's also very blunt and very caustic. So she's offended a lot of people, and it becomes Elsa's job to deliver letters to people from her grandmother that these are letters that her grandmother's telling them she's sorry for hurting their feelings or for doing whatever. And so, yeah, each of the letters has like this hidden story, and it's not only healing for the people who receive the letters, but it's also healing for Elsa. So there is that book that I really enjoyed. And then I started a series at the beginning of the year that I found, again, like really by accident. I was perusing Kindle as you do, and I found this series by an author named A.E. Rain, which is a pen name. This author she's known as Amy, and she's from New Zealand. And she's written a bunch of books, but the series that I found first is called the Lords of Aleka series. It's fantasy, but it's very medievally kind of Viking-esque. You know, lots of traveling by ships, lots of like walking around and fighting, but it's not gory. And the main characters, I just fell in love with them. There's characters called dreamers, which we would call witches. But and I love the characters, and what I really liked was that things turned out well in the end. So at the end of this 6-book saga, everything turned out well. So that was a good thing. And now there's another series that she wrote first that I've just started. So I'm kind of going backwards. So those are some of the things that I've read this year. I hope that that's been interesting to you. I hope that this video's been interesting. It's just kind of the wrap up for me and what I'm doing for the year, for, you know, going into fall. But I'm really interested in what decks you're using for fall, because I don't really have very many fall decks, and I haven't really bought many decks in a long time. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on decks. I want to buy responsibly, as Gerald says, Tarot Stash. So I maybe want to pick up a couple of decks this season and see how they work. So please let me know in the comments what oracle decks you're working with and what tarot decks you're working with for fall. I will be live tomorrow at 4 o'clock for Wine and Tarot. I'm excited about that. We have a full moon, super moon. It's called the Hunter's Moon, or the Harvest Moon. And this year it is a harvest moon as well, because it's closest to the equinox. But so yeah, we have that coming up on the 6th. I am going live now every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern to do one card tarot readings. I may start, doing donation for, 3 cards or so. I'm not there yet, but right now it's just like this cozy group of, I usually have 4 people that I know really well, which, oh my goodness, just makes my heart sing. Deanne, if you're watching this, you've been in there. Gerald's been in, Jamie, Jen, Donna has been in, and it just makes me just kind of relax. And then every week there's just 1 or 2 others who come in and want a reading, and that's great too. That's what it's there for, just to start your week off. So that's happening. And then the rune circle is happening. Darn it, I didn't bring the runes over. So Mr. Honey is busily making runes. We have 1 set. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks and we got caught up in other things. So I have 1 set that's almost ready to go in the shop, and it will go over in the shop and buy me a coffee, and I'll let you know when it does go up. They're made from wood, found wood. We don't cut any trees down to make anything. And I think that the set that's almost ready to go, it's either ash or oak. I'm not sure which. But he also has some cherry that he's going to make some runes from, so that I'm really excited to see how those come out. And he's going to make them a little bit longer and drill a hole in the top so that you could wear them if you wanted to as a talisman. So yeah, so look forward to those. And that's it. That's what's happening. The rune circle comes out every Wednesday, and yeah, so that's what's been going on at Little Zen Crone's house. What's happening in your world? Let me know that in the comments too. Thanks so much. If you stuck till the end of this, I really appreciate it. And leave a comment for me. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you're seeing this for the first time, if you've never been to my channel before and you made it this far, wow, welcome to my world. And please subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified when more videos come out. Until next time, take care everyone, be kind.